What's up, everybody? Rothstein here, Betting Public Sports Show. I'm your beloved host, Fame Rothstein, a.k.a., I don't know, Bay O Wolf. Today is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. Please like, subscribe to the video, leave comments, share the channel, share the video. I'm going in a little bit today. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm going to go in a little bit, so pardon me. I had to get this off early because, while it was still on my mind, it's, summer hadn't even risen yet where I'm at. So, so let's just go in. You'll all be talking about it today or whenever you watch this video, you've seen it, the video of Anton Daniels and Corey Holcombe. On the Corey Holcombe show, the 5150 show, the podcast that he co-hosts with fellow comedian Craig Fax and one of the first baddies of hip-hop, Darlene Ortiz. Most of us will remember her as Ice-T's girl, right? On the cover of that video, or the cover of that album, what was it? It was either Rhyme Pays or... I forget which one it was. Rhyme Pays or Power, one of them. Ice-T, for those of you all who don't know, he's a former rapper. He's Finn on Law and Order SVU. All right, but let's get into it. Anton Daniels, I don't know how long he's been podcasting, but, he's been, blowing up, tearing up shit, blowing up through the internet, especially in the black spaces over the last, 6 months or more. I just came into contact with him, became familiar with him in the last 6-8 months, so he probably been bubbling, 3 to 6 months before that, if not longer. Admitted Republican, he's conservative. Part of his lure is his aesthetic. He's got the wild, weird glasses. He's got, funny glasses and bald head. Kind of smallish guy, but he's very articulate. You can tell he's college educated. I believe he said he was somewhere in software engineering. And then he, before he started podcasting. He's grayish. He got, gray around his beard and whatnot. So I'm going to say he's 45 plus. Somewhere between 45 and 50 is what I'm going to guess with. I'm not sure. And like I said, he's from Detroit. He's kind of a common, well, I can't call it common sense because, and to me personally, and please hear me out, let me land, as Corey was saying on the show when they were arguing, let me land this. To me, he's not that interesting because he's been saying the same stuff I've been saying for years. Pretty common sense stuff. So it's not, sometimes, it's like I'm talking, it's like I'm watching myself, watching him. That's no disrespect to him at all because, whatever he's got going on is working out for him and he deserves it. So I'm not, salty or nothing like that. Even trying to, I'm just saying that's, hey, he says a lot of stuff I said. So I watch him not for the entertainment, just, just to, hear what's going on out here because, he'll take random clips and of the internet, not selling celebrities or anything like that, just of people, in their videos and whatnot, saying this and that, I'm going to leave my husband for this and, my this kid I've been raising since he was 3 years old. He's now 18. Told me, I ain't his daddy. This thing, and he reflects on those types of things. Talks about them, he doesn't get up, he's done interviews with Charleston White. He doesn't get excited and, get obnoxious or nothing like that because he's just going over his videos. And then there's Corey Holcombe, who's a comedian we've known for years, in the black community. Very dark comedy. You got to have a special type of stomach to like Corey and a special wit as well to like Corey. And You know, he had podcasts, and back in the day, I mean, people were thinking that this one with him and Anton Daniels was going to turn into an episode that he had back in the day with Aries Spears and another co-host, Zoe Williams. You can go look that up on the internet. It's out there, you know. Zoe just kind of just took off on Aries. So, you know, see, Corey's one of these guys, you know, there's no gray area with Corey. You either fuck with him or you don't. There's going to be a lot more gray area with Anton because, you know, he's non-threatening. He's non-threatening to the establishment. Not big. Not a big guy, anything like that. You can tell he's not a big, because Corey's not necessarily the biggest guy. I think I read he was like 6'2". And, you know, he was, you know, kind of, you know, when they were standing up, he's kind of swallowing, pardon me, pause. He was kind of, you know, you can just tell he was the bigger man over, considerably bigger man over Anton. But they get to arguing or they start the talking, and you can tell things are heating up. But somebody said in the comments that Corey Holcombe, like, let's cut through the chase. Corey Holcombe was intimidated by Anton's intelligence and blah, 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 and tried to, you know, play it off by being aggressive with him. And I'll be honest with you. I saw that. In my opinion, that could be true. There was some of that went there because Corey, there was like a part early before they start really arguing, or Corey turns to him and kind of exhales like, you know, like knows he's going to be in a battle, but it's his show. He got to hold his show down. And then, and that happens, you know, because I've been, you know, I like I said, I'm more Anton Daniels. You know, been to hell and back, but I'm more Anton Daniels. You know, I'm, you know, a lot of my friends, put like this. I know a lot of guys that are intimidated by smart guys. I could drive. Trust me, I could pull up on one right now that who this fits. You know, and Corey seemed to have been like that. Intimidated by that. Now, Anton said some real slick shit about some, you know, because Corey said something about a boss and all that kind of stuff, you know, that Dame Dash shit. And then then Anton said something about, you know, Corey said that, Anton, you don't say nothing about white men. You don't say nothing about yourself. Everybody else is the problem. And then, you know, Anton says something about, you know, Corey, you've been sucking dick, you know, for your, you know, trying to say your corporate sponsors and whatnot. And that's when Corey lost it, talking about some sucking dick, blah, blah, blah. Who you trying to say sucking dick, blah, blah, blah. I don't suck no dick, you know, because Corey always talks about that backdooria. You know, these guys who had to have sex to get in the game, the comedy game, you know, Hollywood game. And so, you know, that set Corey the hell off. And so they're chest to chest talking shit. Corey, you know, had to move Darlene out the way. Like, let's switch seats with me. Then later had to, you know, she tries to get in between them because they're going for a good 10 minutes arguing. You know, no punches thrown, no threats. You know, although Anton did ask him to step outside, I'll give him that. You know, because I'll be honest with you, Anton came in there a little, not disrespectful, but Anton is, you know, he feeling himself. He should. It's his turn. He's on a generational run right now. He feeling himself. So he went on the show like that, and you know, Corey didn't like that energy, and then he already knew, you know, because like I said, some guys are thoroughly intimidated by articulate dudes with a, you know, vocabulary that don't, you know, use, you know, basic hood language all their life. You know, they think you're trying to, you know, use big words to fool them. You know, and it ain't just black people. Hell, go to I remember watching, you know, I talk about Stephen A. Smith and his big words. Go back and watch when he was on a couple times when he was on Friday Night Fights with Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas flat out said it. Stop saying those big words. You had to see it. I forgot which fight it was. But yeah, man. But yeah, Antoine, kind of, he chested up with him, and and then they went on for about 10 minutes. Then they was cool for about 5 or 10 minutes. Everything was cool. They kumbaya, yeah. But Anton keeps going. Corey not liking it. Corey flat out said it, like, I feel like you're trying to talk shit again. And they start talking shit again, and then Anton just left. Which he should have. He really should have left the first time. I mean, it was cool that they made it up, but like, the minute y'all start talking about, the minute that part about, sucking dick went left, the minute that part went left, y'all should have just ended it then. But Corey was kind of on one too. Like I said, he was threatened by Anton's intelligence, thinking Anton was gonna get one off of him, and knowing that Anton has a sizable following, has a very sizable following. You're not gonna be able to pull that off on him. It's kind of like truth be told, Tariq Nasheed and Tommy Sotomayor. Because I fuck with Tariq Nasheed. To me, he's the number one of the black conscious community. To me, yeah, he's number one. Tommy is not necessarily, on the radar like that, but people know who he is, and he does have a sizable following. So you wasn't gonna be able to, so like, cause I thought Tariq buried him with that crispy shit. You know what I'm saying? Nope. Tommy's got too many fans for all that. Same thing with Corey and Anton. Corey wasn't gonna be able to just bully him like that. Antoine, he like to talk his shit, and he got following. Trust me, he'll have something out in the next day or two, and it'll be damn near viral, because he's got that kind of following. But the thing about those two separate entities, the articulate brother, not just Anton, but speaking for all the articulate brothers, and then you got Corey Holcombe, guys who aren't as articulate and think you're doing too much when you articulate. Those two never mix in a room. They'll mix for a little bit, but eventually, the animosity might come out. Because smart dudes ain't never have animus toward a street dude or a hood dude. You get it how you live. It's always the other way around. Oh, you think you the white man? You think you smarter than everybody? This, that. Go somewhere with that dumb shit. I'm just trying to exist like you do. You don't know, just having an education, you still got to deal with some of that still, because, there are still factions of white people that resent you having an education. Like, how the hell this, get smarter than me? Well, uppity pants. How you think beyond the pale, the phrase beyond the pale came? The uppity Negro. Deal with that at work. Something, that hood dudes don't have to deal with. So, you get racism from both sides. But I digress. Tell me what you think. I'm sure you'll see the Corey and Anton exchange. Like I said, it was riveting. Because I can tell they weren't gonna fight. But being up in each other's face like that, basically talking their shit. And we're taking a side today. Anton won. I don't want to hear that bull. Well, they both said their piece and this, that, the other. No, we're adults here. We're taking a side. Anton won. Kind of bully Corey on his own shit. Like Nas said, Jay-Z, lost a verse to Eminem on his own shit. Corey Holcombe kind of got punked on his own shit. Anton, he talking about some, say I suck dick all the time. Say it again, nigga. Nigga, he said it once on your show. And on top of that, he offered you to go outside. Like he was with it. Like, dude, you know, I'm from Detroit. Now that's some sucker shit. I've been past all that. I'm from so-and-so. I'm from so-and-so. You know, all that. But, you know, he called you out on your own shit, Corey. I mean, I'm glad you didn't, but he called you out on your own shit, on your own show. Called you a hypocrite and everything. You know, he came to talk his shit. He was ready to talk his shit, just like an articulate man would. But I digress. Hey, it's been real, y'all. Leave your comments, share the video, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll holler back at you soon. Peace.